The last 20 years, if we look at different parts of the world, Islamophobia has killed hundreds to thousands to millions. If you pick up, for example, Burma, you pick up what's happening in Syria, you pick up what happened in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Chechnya, in Bosnia, in Central African Republic, in different parts of the world, Muslims have been massacred. One report goes to the extent of saying in the last 2 decades, that is almost 18 to 20 years, it says that 4 million Muslims have been massacred to death in their own homes across the globe. They did not go out to fight anybody. They were not political people. They did not go into a rally. They did not go out to fight or create a revolution. They were in their own homes, in their own home countries. And they were attacked and killed and murdered in their own places. Some of the attacks that took place across the globe, to give you an idea of the severity of what Islamophobia generates, is the invasion of Iraq. It was done in the name of weapons of mass destruction. Later, it has been announced by the respective governments, including Tony Blair, the then Prime Minister of United Kingdom. He said in his public confession, along with the Chilcot report that was released in United Kingdom, he said, we are responsible after the false narrative invasion of Iraq for the formation of terror groups like ISIS. And more than 1 million people are dead in Iraq since the false invasion committed by the global powers of the world. Similarly, where I come from, Australia, my own Prime Minister of that time, John Howard, publicly attested and he said, we are embarrassed to know that we were falsely led for the Iraq invasion. Before that, we know the war in Afghanistan. Here is an article published in Indian Express, dated 10th of December 2019, just earlier this week. It mentions that United States public was misled to believe Afghan war was winnable. According to the leaked documents by the army in charge, heads and leaders of that time, they have confessed that the war that they took to Afghanistan was never winnable, and they don't know. I would like to quote the statement of Douglas Lute, who was an army general, a 3-star army general for the American war on Afghanistan. He said, we didn't know what we were doing in Afghanistan. We didn't know who our enemy was in Afghanistan. And Donald Rumsfeld, who was the in charge of the war at that time, he said, I have no visibility into who the bad guys are. They don't know who they are fighting. They don't know who they are killing. Almost 500,000 people in Afghanistan have been put to death through this false narrative war. Now, I do not have the time, nor do I have, to let all of you know all the massacres that are happening across the globe. This is just to give you an idea of what Islamophobia is creating across the globe. While we live in the Western world, from the newspapers from United States to Australia, they continuously mention, for example, the Islamophobia that is happening in China. The Islamophobia, they also mention that some of the Islamophobic incidents have taken place even here in India, for example, through the mob lynching and other similar incidents. It mentions that this is the result of Islamophobia growing in different parts of the world. Now we beg the question,